Welcome to Cape Town News. Today is Sunday, the 7th of December, 2025, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis has delivered one of his most urgent warnings yet, saying the city's crime crisis has reached a point where justice reform can no longer be delayed. His comments follow the latest quarterly crime statistics, which reveal persistently high levels of gang, gun, and drug-related offenses across several communities. The mayor said the numbers paint a bleak picture of daily life in vulnerable neighborhoods where violent crime continues to grip families and fuel fear. He stressed that without meaningful changes in the justice system, policing efforts alone cannot reverse the trend. Hill-Lewis noted that although SAPS has made progress in some areas, including the seizure of illegal firearms and narcotics, these operational successes have not translated into higher conviction rates. Only a small fraction of firearm-related cases currently end in convictions, a failure he attributes to structural weaknesses within the justice chain, including limited resources in SAPS and the National Prosecuting Authority. He said the fragmented system is undermining accountability and allowing violent offenders to re-enter communities with little consequence. The mayor pointed to modest but meaningful decreases in murder rates in Langa, Philippi East, and Khayelitsha, crediting the increased presence of law enforcement advancement plan officers deployed in partnership with SAPS. He said these declines prove that strategic partnerships work, but only if the justice system is strong enough to prosecute cases effectively. Hill-Lewis added that the city stands ready to expand investigative support and provide additional capacity to help build prosecution-ready case dockets. Adding to the urgency, recent city data shows that Cape Town has added more than 1,000 officers and hundreds of new vehicles since 2021. While national police staffing levels continue to decline. Cape Town's aviation fuel system has come under renewed scrutiny after a series of administrative delays exposed vulnerabilities that could threaten airport operations during the busy holiday season. The Fuels Industry Association of South Africa confirmed that a prolonged audit by the South African Revenue Service blocked the release of Jet A1 fuel at the Bergen terminal in the Port of Cape Town, leaving one of the airport's major suppliers unable to uplift stock. Although flights at Cape Town International Airport continued as normal, the association warned that the situation created a real risk of shortages had airlines not put mitigation plans in place. Industry leaders said the event demonstrated how dependent the airport is on efficient coordination between regulators and storage operators. Airports company South Africa responded by assuring travelers that the airport's fuel supply remained stable, but it acknowledged that temporary strain affected 4 airlines. To avoid disruptions, these carriers took on additional fuel at OR Tambo International Airport before flying to Cape Town, giving local reserves time to stabilize. ACSA said it continues to work closely with suppliers, regulators, and ground teams to prevent similar constraints as holiday travel increases. The Fuels Industry Association added that the root cause extends far beyond the recent audit delay. It warned that gaps in the Customs and Excise Act make it difficult for independent storage facilities to register to handle duty-free aviation fuel, even though these facilities form a critical part of national aviation logistics. Because aviation kerosene requires strict tax controls and chemical markers to prevent misuse, unclear registration pathways create operational uncertainty. It stressed that clearer regulations are essential to protect tourism, economic stability, and long-term aviation reliability in the Western Cape. Parliament is bracing for one of its most contested education debates in years as members of Parliament prepare to vote on whether the long-standing 30% matric pass mark should finally be scrapped. The motion, driven by Build One South Africa leader Mamusi Maimane, has sparked intense national conversation about academic standards and the future of South Africa's young people. Maimane argued that the minimum benchmark does more harm than good, insisting that no learner can truly be considered proficient at a subject by scoring just above 30%. calling for the pass threshold to rise to 50% over time. He said the nation should expect learners to reach their full potential and not normalize what he describes as systemic mediocrity. He noted that Build One South Africa engaged Parliament in a mini plenary where multiple parties supported the call to raise the pass mark. Maimane said the country can no longer defend standards far below those used by nations that South Africa competes with internationally. He believes that maintaining a low pass mark hinders ambition, restricts post-school opportunities, and reflects a lack of commitment to real educational improvement. Parties from across the political spectrum echoed parts of this concern, including the Umkhonto we Sizwe party, whose representatives argued that raising the pass mark must go hand in hand with tackling socio-economic barriers affecting disadvantaged learners. Sile Ngubane from the Umkhonto we Sizwe party stressed that allowing learners to pass with only 30% ignores 70% of their potential. He said the message it sends to schools and communities is deeply harmful, as it encourages the belief that high achievement is optional rather than essential. As Parliament prepares to vote, the outcome could reshape South Africa's education system for years to come, influencing everything from curriculum design to national expectations of excellence. Tension reached a boiling point in Kyles River on Monday as community members rallied under the Coloured Lives Matter banner, demanding immediate intervention to stop the relentless gun violence tearing through neighbourhoods across the Cape Flats. The march, held near Zevenwacht Mall, saw Patriotic Alliance Public Relations Councillor Wendell Nimmerhout issuing a direct plea to South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa. He said that continued bloodshed in areas like Eerste River, Kyles River, Wesbank and other communities has left families exhausted, frightened and desperate for decisive action. According to Nimmerhout, the situation has spiraled so far out of control that only the deployment of the army can stabilize gang-stricken zones, similar to interventions once used during earlier periods of unrest. Nimmerhout said that while many police officers do their best, some remain in cahoots with criminals, which further erodes public trust. He argued that the presence of the army would bring immediate order, allowing law enforcement to regain control in places where illegal guns and ammunition flow far too easily into the hands of gangs. He raised critical questions about where these weapons come from, noting that many perpetrators cannot legally own firearms or afford them. He said this alone suggests deeper criminal networks that must be exposed and dismantled. Patriotic Alliance Member of Parliament Liam Jacobs echoed the call, saying coloured communities lose their young men daily to gang violence and gunfire. He explained that the phrase "coloured lives matter" does not imply that only coloured lives matter, but rather that coloured communities are under severe threat and feel abandoned by the systems meant to protect them. Residents told reporters they no longer feel safe walking outside or allowing children to play in local streets. As community anger grows louder, calls for national intervention continue rising, with many saying the government must act before more families lose loved ones. The Western Cape High Court heard detailed arguments on Tuesday as the City of Cape Town defended the legality of its fixed tariffs, a matter that has drawn national attention due to its potential impact on household bills and property-linked charges. The case, brought by the South African Property Owners Association and AfriForum, challenges the city's decision to link some fixed service charges to property values. Both organizations argue that any tariff tied to property valuation qualifies as a rate, something they say the city is not empowered to impose outside the Municipal Property Rates Act. Their legal teams relied heavily on past constitutional rulings to argue that the city has blurred the lines between service charges and rates, creating what they call a system that burdens property owners in a way not supported by national law. They maintain that if the city wants to generate revenue from property values, it must do so through the formal rates process, which requires specific oversight and legislation. During the hearing, AfriForum urged the court to consider suspending parts of the budget until June next year to give the city time to correct what they view as procedural defects. They emphasized that the issue is not whether the city should fund services, but whether it is acting within its fiscal powers as defined by the Constitution. They said the city has a duty to adhere strictly to legal frameworks when raising revenue, especially when households face pressure from rising living costs. When the city addressed the court, its legal team argued that fixed charges are lawful service charges and that the municipality is empowered to impose them as part of its mandate to maintain and expand essential services. The city stressed that household income and property value trends show a practical connection between ability to pay and valuation bands. Judges pressed the city on its claim of wide fiscal authority, but the city insisted that nothing in law prevents it from using fixed tariffs structured in this way. The case resumes today with further arguments expected. 2 law enforcement officers from the City of Cape Town's metal theft unit were arrested on Tuesday morning on charges of extortion, bribery, and business robbery, marking another serious corruption case inside the enforcement services. The men, aged 36 and 41, were taken into custody after an investigation led by the Safety and Security Information Management Service unit working alongside the Hawks. They are expected to appear in the Cape Town Regional Court tomorrow. According to Wayne Dyerson, spokesperson for the city's law enforcement, the officers allegedly targeted foreign-owned spaza shops by demanding documentation and then soliciting money regardless of whether paperwork was shown. Incidents under investigation date back to January this year, with multiple victims reporting payments of 5,000 and 6,000 rand. In one case, investigators believe the suspect stole cigarettes worth more than 600,000 rand from a victim's vehicle while he was being processed at Philippi East Police Station. Hawks spokesperson Zinzi Hani confirmed that both officers were previously arrested in May on similar charges but were released on bail. Hani noted that the officers allegedly used their authority to create fear and exploit vulnerable business owners who were hesitant to challenge official enforcement figures. Dyerson said the city views the arrests as necessary to restore public trust and is pursuing internal disciplinary processes alongside the criminal case. He added that the Safety and Security Directorate remains committed to removing criminal elements from its ranks and ensuring that enforcement services operate with integrity. The city said both men will be suspended pending the outcome of formal hearings. The Western Cape Department of Health and Wellness marked World AIDS Day with a province-wide call for residents to return to HIV and TB care, warning that more than 111,000 people living with HIV in the province have not accessed treatment in the past 2 years. The provincial event, held in Ilingalethu in Malmesbury, united health teams, civil society groups, and community members under the global theme of overcoming disruption and transforming the AIDS response. Officials warned that the current treatment gap threatens progress toward the global 95 targets. Provincial Health Minister Mireille Wenger said the campaign is about restoring dignity and bringing people back into care in a welcoming environment. She stressed that clinics and mobile teams are prepared to support anyone who has stopped treatment, adding that returning to care is a vital act of hope. Senior health official Dr. Juanita Arence echoed the message, urging residents who have missed appointments to come back without fear of judgment. District Director Warren Caesar said early testing and treatment save lives and insisted that HIV is now a chronic and treatable condition, but only if people remain in consistent care. He added that community partners, clinics, and mobile units are working to ensure stigma-free access to treatment and support. The province highlighted several new interventions under the Close the Gap campaign, including clinician-led HIV testing, multi-month medication refills, expanded wellness hubs, and integrated TB screening at every point of care. Delft Community Health Centre was recognized for its success in this approach. The department also urged residents to look out for TB symptoms, test early, use prevention tools such as condoms and PrEP, and seek chronic medication through local wellness hubs. Community dialogues and outreach efforts will continue through December as the province works to reconnect residents with life-saving care. A devastating fire in Langa claimed the lives of a mother, Asavela Seti, and her 3 children in the early hours of Monday morning. Residents of the Sialala informal settlement told Ground Up they woke to screams but were unable to reach the family as flames spread rapidly through their structure. Strong winds and the complete absence of water taps in the area left residents with almost no way to contain the fire until firefighters arrived. At least 15 shacks were destroyed, leaving several families displaced and without belongings. Community members described scenes of desperation as neighbors tried to break through the blaze but were driven back by the heat and smoke. One resident said the sound of the children screaming still echoes in his mind. Another resident, who is 8 months pregnant, said she lost everything, including clothing she had prepared for her baby. She had no idea where she would sleep that night. Hours later, a second fire ignited at the nearby Joe Slovo informal settlement, destroying 10 more shacks. No deaths were reported in that incident. The city's informal settlement management teams have completed an assessment and are preparing documentation for the National Department of Human Settlements to request emergency assistance. The Western Cape Department of Social Development will provide psychosocial support to affected families as recovery begins. The Western Cape is again looking into the heart of its gang crisis, as the province records more than 2,308 murders in just 6 months, and pressure mounts on Provincial Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Thembisile Patekele to step aside. A scathing report that Premier Alan Winde was forced to release links members of the South African Police Service in the province to the notorious 28's gang, and community leaders on the Cape Flats say trust in the police is hanging by a thread. The calls for Patekele to resign grew louder after a 9-year-old boy and 2 adults were shot dead in Mitchell's Plain, and more people were gunned down near Athlone Magistrates Court and in Q-Town, Bo-Kaap, Manenberg, Delft, and other hotspots. Patekele says he will not walk away and insists he now wants to work harder to make the province safer, promising a comprehensive policing strategy that focuses on evidence-based policing, new technology, and closer cooperation with communities, business, and other law enforcement partners. He argues that crime is fueled by very crowded communities, poorly lit informal areas with few roads, high unemployment, old municipal flats that have become breeding grounds for gangs, and a serious lack of basic services. Patekele says police have already arrested gang bosses, extortion leaders, and hitmen, and that cases are moving through the courts. But he admits that these arrests also created dangerous power gaps inside gangs and taxi groups. Crime experts like Calvin Rafferty and groups such as the Cape Flats Safety Forum have questioned his leadership, while anti-crime activist Yusuf Abramji says a change of commissioner alone will not fix the crisis without clear national and provincial strategies, more officers, and honest efforts to win back community trust. In Rocklands in Mitchell's Plain, a quiet Tuesday night became another scene of horror when 4 masked gunmen walked into a property in Viscount Street and opened fire, killing 3 people and wounding 2 more. Among those killed was 9-year-old Zechariah Matthey, who had been raised by his grandmother after his father died. She told the Daily Voice that she was at a nearby shop across the Feld when she heard rapid gunshots, then rushed home to find her grandson shot in the face and head. Inside a Wendy house on the same property, she found 26-year-old Moogsheen Daniels and 19-year-old Cleo Bailey, her daughter, also shot in the head. 2 male relatives, aged 51 and 36, survived but were seriously injured, one with a broken arm. By the next morning, police vehicles lined the street as detectives searched for clues and questioned men in the area. Police spokesperson Colonel Andre Trout confirmed that the South African Police Service has assigned detectives from the anti-gang unit to lead the investigation and said they are following several promising leads to find those responsible for what he called a heinous crime. The South African Police Service has appealed to anyone in Mitchell's Plain who knows who the masked gunmen are or who saw suspicious movement on the night of the shooting to come forward and share information so that the killers can be brought to justice. The Western Cape government has tabled a major financial boost to essential public services, announcing 1.739 billion rand in new funding as part of the medium-term budget policy statement and the 2025 adjustment budget. Finance Minister Deidre Bartman said the province is shifting into a scaling for growth phase that aims to expand infrastructure delivery, strengthen investment, and support a rapidly growing population. She highlighted that the Western Cape continues to outperform the national economy, driven by strong performances in agriculture, tourism, and finance, while also maintaining the lowest unemployment rate in the country. With population growth placing new pressure on clinics, schools, and roads, Bartman said, "Every rand in this budget must carry more weight than ever before." The new funding will come from a blend of national transfers and provincial allocations, and no department will face cuts during this adjustment. Health receives the largest portion, with 573.6 million rand set aside to stabilize in-year pressures and to fill critical vacancies going into the next budget cycle. Education is provisionally allocated 292.1 million rand for teacher compensation in 2026 and 2027 as schools continue to absorb new learner enrollments fueled by inward migration. The province is also directing 9 million rand to the Mitchell's Plain Safety and Development Program, a new pilot aimed at reducing crime in high-risk communities. Smaller allocations include 3.5 million rand for youth programs in sport and culture, along with 21 million rand for social development to strengthen psychosocial support and care for older persons. A further 295 million rand is earmarked for infrastructure upgrades across the province. The broader outlook of the adjustment budget also signals a shift in how the province plans to manage long-term service pressure. Cape Town's festive season opened under a cloud of fear on Thursday as 4 people were killed in separate shootings across the metropole, underscoring the growing volatility of gang-related conflicts. In Manenberg, a drive-by attack at the corner of Danefontein and Turf Hall roads left a 45-year-old man dead and a 21-year-old injured. Law enforcement officers witnessed the shooting and pursued the suspects, intercepting a hijacked vehicle in Amazon Way, where one wounded suspect was arrested while 3 others escaped. The Manenberg Community Policing Forum said the shooting was linked to tensions between the Fancy Boys and Hard Livings groups. Later in Belhar, 2 brothers aged 38 and 63 were gunned down in Mozart Street, with officers arriving to find both victims fatally wounded. No arrests have been made. In Cloatsville, Stellenbosch, another man was shot dead in an unrelated incident as details continued to emerge. Police spokesperson Sergeant Wesley Twigg said detectives are investigating all 3 scenes and have urged the public to provide information through Crime Stop or the mobile application. Community leaders warn the holiday period could become increasingly violent if urgent interventions are not implemented, with several neighborhoods reporting heightened tension in recent weeks. A warm and breezy Monday is on the way, with Cape Town, Paarl and Stellenbosch all reaching a high of 28 degrees and cooling to around 15 degrees overnight. Clear skies hold throughout the day with no rain expected, and humidity settles at about 55%. Winds build from the south at roughly 46 kilometers an hour, creating lively sea conditions along the coast. Offshore, the swell sits at about 1.5 meters with an 11-second southwest period. The first high tide arrives at 5:32 in the morning, before dropping to low tide at 11:45, with a second high tide at 5:48 in the evening. Sunrise is at 5:28 and sunset at 19:48, and the ultraviolet index climbs to an extreme 13, making sun protection essential for anyone spending time outdoors. With that, We wrap up this week's recap, and now you know what's happening in the mother city. Thank you for watching Cape Town News. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget, the next bulletin drops tomorrow at 12 noon on YouTube. Meanwhile, stay safe, informed, and connected.